Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Ultra hardware, part number 34910R1. This is a pair of cabinet hinges, is what it is, from Ultra. These are going to be typical overlay cabinet hinges. Not going to be anything out of the ordinary. These are very ubiquitous. So if you're looking at these hinges, it's probably because you may have these hinges because they're everywhere. Self-closing hinge, got some giddy up to it. Okay, obviously in a brass finish. So this is a cabinet hinge. It is a typical cabinet hinge in the sense that the door is going to overlay the face of the frame. Okay, it's surface mounted. The door can, in a cabinet, the door can be inset, where the door is flush with the outside face of the frame. The door can then be larger and sit on top of the frame, and then it's overlay, or it can be partial overlay, where the edge of the door is mortised and part of the door goes inside of the opening and the other part wraps over to the face. This is just an overlay hinge is what this is. They don't even call it any of that here. So just in your mind's eye, you know, your jamb is going to be here and your door is going to be out here. Okay? Well, it's really going to be something more like this. Okay? Where my finger is representing the edge of the frame. Now, let's take a closer look at it with a tape measure. And the purpose of the dimensions will be to help you determine whether or not this is going to work for you. Okay. So when you look at the edge of your door, if there's any mortise in the edge or if it looks like a step, this is not the right hinge. That's a partial overlay. If your door sits into the opening and it's flush with the outside, this is not the right hinge. But if you look at it and your cabinet door is applied to the face and is larger than the opening, this could be it. Let's take a couple of dimensional properties. Overall height of the frame leaf, about 2 3/4. Center to center of the screw holes, which would certainly be more important if you're replacing existing, it's going to be about 2 1/8. Okay. The edge of the leaf to the edge of the hinge plate itself is about 1 3/16, and you're going to have your that positioned in such a way that you're going to be reusing the existing locations, assuming you're doing a new you're changing out existing. Top of the plate to those 2 screws towards the hinge barrel, about 5/16 down to about 1 1/4. That other hole is about 13/16. Okay, this is self-closing. There is behind here a piece of white plastic that has a spring or a couple of springs, 2 springs it seems, that when that gets pushed closed, at the tip of my fingers where there's spring tension. That's going to make that become self-closing because the springs are basically pushing that white piece of plastic, which is pushing those 2 posts out to get the thing to self-close. Okay, so when you buy one, you're buying a pair. With a pair, you're going to get all the fasteners that you need. Okay, tiny little, might be number 6 at the most, and then a couple of adhesive like sponge neoprene, sponge rubber, and they're just mute so that when the door closes, it's not slam, it's at least hitting that bumper. And typical cabinet hinges will always include those. Sometimes they are a sponge type rubber. I've seen them in cork as well. And this, of course, this design of cabinet hinge, who knows how many decades old this is? Who knows how old this type of cabinet hinge design is? Obviously in the polished brass type finish, made of steel, and again sold as a pair. Now, below this video, there's literally no information except it says when you buy one, you're buying a pair, and that they are in satin brass, polished brass, that they include screws. Now, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Ultra products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website. as well as a link to the full product catalog. I would suggest that you open that document up, the Ultra Hardware product catalog, and then do a find function, Control F maybe on your keyboard, and then put in 349101. Now that's going to be a great, let's switch to the screen view just to show you this. Now, this is indeed the item that we're looking at. The link to the manufacturer's page is here. When that comes up, fire up, first of all, copy this. This is the link to the manufacturer's page. Pardon me. Yeah, this is the link where you can view all the Ultra that we sell. The link to the manufacturer's website, as well as that catalog that I had mentioned. Go ahead and click on that. Control F, paste that part number, then let the document be found, and you'll see here your hinge. And what's nice about that is the same hinge in other finishes and their part numbers. Okay, this is flush type. I certainly wouldn't call this flush type. I wouldn't use the term flush. Flush to me means inset. I would call it surface mounted. Might be better. And then you have your inset, and the difference is here, when that door is sucked into the opening, it's then an inset, but this would really be called a partial inset because the entire door is an inset, only part of it. You're literally going to make a stepped mortise in the side of your door. Other hinges are here, for your review. A partial wrap, we're just getting deep into the terminology of hinges at this point. It's not necessary, but the point was to show you the table where you can find all of the other colors in this incredibly generic hinge. And one more thing, the 3/8 inset is basically a reference to the how far over this leg is 3/8. That's your mortise. Your door will come right to here, but it'll be mortised over 3/8. Okay, now let's wrap up this video on camera. Now, in conclusion, if you still have that catalog open, I would recommend that you review that because Ultra Hardware is chock full of good quality material for residential applications. Cabinet hardware, I would definitely look at their cabinet knobs and drawer pulls. Great value, good quality, good fit and finish, inexpensive, feels heavy in the hand. A lot of it's made of zinc, and that's what makes it heavy. A lot of it's made of brass as well. They do a great job with that. If you're a residential client, I'd look towards that. If you're a commercial client, I would take a look at their hinges, their exit devices, and their door closers. Really good value in those areas. Okay. Any questions on the Ultra Hardware number 34910R1 or any other Ultra Hardware product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.